Alright, so hey guys, get ready with me where I'll give you a quick story time slash testimony about how it's so important to trust God. And God is just teaching me in this journey as I continue to grow in Christ that I always got to trust Him. And He's a man of His word. And even when it don't work out on my time, don't mean it ain't going to work out in my favor, right? So, quick story time while I do my little makeup. So, quick backstory. I a few years ago decided I wanted to be a respiratory therapy therapist, right? Um, I decided that in around, I don't know, probably like 2019, 2020, I got interested in respiratory therapy because of like COVID and so on and so forth, right? So I started looking into schools, started researching schools, and I found this school that pretty much I can take a program at that didn't have a wait list and so on and so forth, and I joined the program, right? I didn't do enough research because I ended up going into the program, and long story short, I won't even mention the school, but I hated it. If you know, you know. It just was not the journey for me. I was just like really, really hating it. So pretty much I was ended up taking a bunch of classes, and I failed one of the classes. It was an accelerated program, so if you fail a class, it's a big deal. You know, you can't fail a class in an accelerated program, at least not in the one I was in, because if you do, it becomes like a problem. I know I look crazy on camera. Trust the process. I'm trusting the process. I'm not looking at no mirror. I'm just looking at a camera and trusting that we're going to be all right. Jesus. So I went to the school. Didn't do well. That was back in like 23, I think. We're in 24. I didn't do well, and pretty much I ended up pretty much leaving the program, right? I ended up being really discouraged, and I thought to myself, like, you know, because I didn't pass the one class, I thought that the program probably wasn't for me, and that God didn't have this for me. I gave up pretty much on the dream that I had to become a respiratory therapist. I'm moving really fast. So I gave up on that little dream, and I continued to just like not focus on respiratory therapist. And I just was like, yeah, I'm gonna continue to work as a paramedic, do my own little thing, and whatever. So fast forward to probably like 2, 3 weeks ago, I get a call one day from um, a school that I had originally inquired with in regards to their respiratory program. This school has a extensive wait list, just like every other school, and it pretty much like I had to join a wait list. So I found out that I was on their wait list, and I didn't even know that I was on their wait list. I tried being on their wait list, and something happened, and I wasn't sure whether I was on a wait list or not. So I emailed the school chairperson months ago. Emailed him, asking him like, hey, I don't know if I'm on your wait list. I'm trying to get on it just in case, blah, blah, blah. Because, deep down inside, I still wanted to be a respiratory therapist. Even though surface level, I was like, I give up, blah, blah, blah. I'm not good enough, all this other stuff because of one thing. So the man gets in touch with me months after that email, which was a few weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. He calls me and he's just like, hey, I got your email. I just want to talk to you about it. This may not look right now, but I promise we're going to trust the process and hope for a good result at the end. So he tells me, like, I got your email and I'm trying to see, what you're talking about. And he pretty much tells me, like, hey, you have to, you're on my wait list. I don't know your number. You got to figure that out by contacting such and such and such. And, he told me all the details about how I can figure out my wait list number. So I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't know exactly when I was on the wait list. I just knew, like, a long time ago, I put myself on a wait list. I'm like, oh, it's probably a few months ago. Who knows? I don't really know. Like I said, I gave up on it, so I stopped thinking about it. But this random call made me think about it again. And that random call prompted me to pray. Because I was just like, first of all, God, hold on. Why you got this man calling me out the blue? Like, I gave up on respiratory, alright? I literally just, probably like 4 weeks ago, scheduled a TEAS exam for nursing school. Even though I literally do not want to be a nurse. Like, literally, I have experiences in my everyday job, and I just be looking at nurses like, God bless y'all, baby, but I don't want this for myself. I love them. If you know me, you know I go hard for my nurses. But baby, I don't want to be a nurse. Okay? So here I am, right? I get in contact with his secretary, and pretty much she emails me back almost immediately, saying that like, hey, your number is 75 on the wait list, and you were put on the wait list in August of 2023, I believe. And I'm just like, okay, cool. August 2023, number 75, and I'm just like, all right, cool. So I contact the man again, and I told him like, oh, I'm number 75, blah 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 blah. He was just like, oh, okay, cool. So he told me all the prereqs, and I started to think that I couldn't get into the program because I was told that if you didn't have the prereqs, couldn't get in. So I started counting myself out again, even though I'm like, I'm getting this call and I feel like it's for a reason, and I'm praying to God like, God, what is the reason? Please show me, please tell me, all this stuff, right? So here I am. I tell him my number, and he's just like, oh, well, with a number like 75, we call, I believe it's 60 or 30 students every year. So they call every April for the fall semester. They call about 30 or 60 students. I can't remember the exact number, but they call a few students, and you know, they pretty much pick their students for the fall semester in April. So if they call 60 students, then I don't even know how that looks. Yeah, we don't know how that looks, but it's gonna have to look. I'm doing my makeup before putting on a white shirt. Oh God. Anyways, we're gonna put on that Charlotte. So whatever. He tells me, hey, with a number like 75, and we call every year, you put your name on the list last year, August. He said we go through that list every single year, and sometimes students deny the call. Like, either they don't pick up, they don't answer to the, you know, when we reach out, or sometimes they're just like, hey, I'm no longer interested, or I pursued another program, this one took too long, whatever. He's like, so sometimes in order to get our little 30 or 60, whatever number it was, he's like, we gotta call like maybe 100 just to get the exact 60 that we need, because some don't meet the qualifications, so on and so forth. So me and him are talking, and this is literally, as we're talking, I'm getting more and more hope, and my hopes are getting up. Like, yo, respiratory, I really love respiratory. And I was like, I want to go. So after I get off the phone with him, well, before I get off the phone, he tells me, and I'm simultaneously speaking to God. He tells me, oh, he's just like, you know, I would reach out to the secretary and ask her for an updated list number, because that list gets updated every few months. And he was like, your number should be lower, because if at August you put your name on the list and it was 75, what is it now in June of 2024? It was 75 a year ago. So he was just like, you know, you should probably get a updated list number. So I'm like, all right, cool. I get off the phone and I start to email the lady, and I stopped, and I was just like, okay, God, before I get my hopes up, let me pray. Because Lord knows me and my hopes will go far. And even though I don't think it's wrong to hope, I do think it's a problem to get ahead of yourself and not seek God. Right? So here I am, like, hey God, I don't know why I'm getting this random call, but I need some clarity because this call right now is sparking my hope into respiratory school. And I was just like, Lord, I don't know if this is you telling me to not give up on the dream that I had. Like I'm clearly going to pursue nursing right now. Like I done gave up on a dream and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna pursue nursing. Because clearly respiratory ain't for me since I didn't make it into the program I thought I should have made it into. So now I told myself like, hey, this ain't for me, blah blah, blah blah blah, right? So I pray and I ask God and I said, God, I'm gonna email this lady, but I need confirmation from you that this is indeed your will for me to go here and pursue this thing. Because if it's not, baby, just tell me from now so that way I don't, waste my time. Like, I'm not trying to waste the people them time, like, none of that. I'm just trying to, like, go about my business. I don't need to answer this email, this man, like, nothing, because I don't have time for false hope, okay? So, I prayed to God and I said, God, I need confirmation. And I remember a friend of mine pretty much had did something like that where she asked God for specifics. And me, I get a little insecure when it comes to asking for specifics because I start to feel like I'm unworthy. But then I had to remind myself who my father is and about grace and his love and his mercy for his child, regardless of his child and her imperfections. And I said, okay, we're going to get specific, right? So I got specific and I said, God, I need confirmation. If it's your will for me to go into this program, I need her to email me back. And in her email, I need her to say specific things. Like, I need her to be like, hey, you are going to be in the next class. I need the qualifications to meet. I need favor. I need, and I needed to be able to take my classes, the prereqs that I needed. I was like, I need the ability to take them a certain way. I wanted to do it online because of clearly work, right? So, whatever. I prayed that prayer and I got specific and I gave God numbers. I said, God, I don't know if He accepts 30 every semester or if He accepts 60 every semester. I said, if He accepts 60 students, Lord, I need this woman to email me and let me know, like, hey, your wait list number is less than 60. I needed her, whatever number she gave me, to be in less than 60. And if it's, what do you call this? If it's 30 students they accept, and I was like, God, I need it to be less than 30. So I was just like, if it's your will, these things will be met because I won't move until, like, I will literally ignore this email and I will move on with my life. Okay? Because like I said, I don't want to disappoint God. I don't want to chase things that He didn't say. I don't want to get my hopes up about things that ain't from Him just because it looked nice. Because I don't have to like nursing, but God, if you said go be a nurse, guess what? Get me some figs and sign me up, baby, because hello, put me in pediatrics. Literally, that's the only place I would go. Actually, I would go to maternity too, but I love the adults, but baby, I can't stand that no more. So I pray, I email the lady, and then I move on because I said what I said. And God gonna do what He gonna do. And I said, God, whatever is your will, whatever you want or don't want, your will be done. And I'm big. All right, so if you say no, guess what? It's no. And I am okay. And if you say yes, then hoorah, count me out for the summer. Because, baby, y'all could be outside. I'm be inside in them bucks, okay? Did I even learn that? I didn't. See, this is what happens when you are vlogging, getting ready, doing your makeup, and not really looking in the mirror to do this, which I never do, and I feel like this one look crazy, but it's all oxidized, so we're gonna update this vlog. So yeah, I emailed this lady and I went about my business because I put my hope in Jesus and I said, Lord, your will be done, and whatever it is, I'm content with. So if it's a yes, we out. We inside. And if it's a no, we outside. No, I didn't say we outside, but Jesus said we never outside. We're gonna keep your behind in. But yeah, y'all get the point, right? So here I am. I mind my business and I go about my day. And I told I went about my day. I went out to eat with one of my friends, and pretty much I left it in the hands of God. I said, listen, I said my prayer and I ain't going to say it again. And I'm going to leave it as is. I told God another thing. I said, Lord, I need confirmation before I take this exam, because I scheduled the TEAS test for nursing. And I said, Lord, I done spent money on the exam. If it's not your will for me to go here, please don't let me have to take it, because that means I got to study for something that I don't actually need. And if you understand the way my anxiety is set up, baby, I don't got time. Okay? And literally, financially, physically, emotionally, who got time? Not I. So I go out to eat with my friend, totally not worrying about it, left it alone. I come home about 3 hours later, and the lady emails me, right? She emails me and she says the exact words. She updated my list number. She said, your list number is now 25. Your list number is 25, so if they accept 30, it's 25. So regardless, right? Her exact words were, your list number is 25. You're expected to enter. Sorry, I'm not picking my nose. It's just something there. Trying to destroy me and ruin my life. Anyways, she said you are expected to enter 2025 fall. Baby, when I said I was ready to cry and run and shout and backflip into Jesus, I said, Lord, you didn't have to. Ooh. I said, I don't gotta take the test. So I said, God, you know how the devil work. I said, can I get a second confirmation? Because remember, the classes that I have to take, I wanted to take them online, because baby, who got time to be on the campus taking them when you got full-time job? And I got 2 jobs. Hello? Thank you, Jesus. My TEAS test for nursing school is actually this week. And I said, God, I wanted confirmation before my TEAS test. It's this week on the 24th. Before the week was over. That was last week. I got that confirmation from God. Like the day I prayed is the day God confirmed. And before that week was done, the lady emailed me back and said, hey, actually no, the chairman emailed me back and said, hey, you can take your classes through this, this, and this online. He gave me multiple sites, and one of them was the one that I wanted to take my classes with. And yeah, so I was like, oh, God, not you confirming. So pretty much, that is my testimony, that trust God, okay? Because it encouraged me, to pray before I start moving. Because hello, who got time to move before God say something and then end up on your face because God never told you to do that? And then 2, I just was like, you know what, God, I'm not trying to mess up. I'd rather seek you first and take a no than to not seek you first and then you gotta deal with it later, right? But then it also made me realize, like, just because things don't happen when you want them to, how you want them to, doesn't mean God said no. And sometimes his no is not a never. It's just a not yet, not this way. Because had I went to the program I went to, I hated it. I'm being very honest. I tell everybody, like, please don't go there. The school has issues. It was way too far. It was way too expensive. Like, it was 0 out of 10 stars. Like, literally 0. And I don't rate nothing a 0. and I rated it 0 out of 10 stars, like highly not recommended. Um, and I'm just glad that I didn't go there because I got to continue to do other things with myself. And now moving forward, I'm just like, I got so caught up on time. I was just like, oh, I'm getting too old. I'm this, I'm that. Started comparing myself, and I'm just like, regardless, if I start when I'm 30, if I start when I'm 35, time's still gonna pass. So whether you start or not, like, it's not like there's an age restriction on it. So I just had to stop and think, like, okay, what did God promise me that I lost hope in? What did I give up on that God was like, I said you could have that, and you forgot about it. And it prompted me to one, just pray and just be like, okay, God, forgive me for giving up on the thing that you told me I could have. And remembering the things that God already said about me, like, hey, remember this, even though that's was said to you 3 years ago, doesn't mean it wasn't true. Just because it's not happening in the way you think it should happen, in the time frame you think it should happen, doesn't mean it's not happening. So pretty much that's my testimony. That's my encouragement. Trust God. Try God if you haven't. And remember the things that God has said to you. Even if it was years ago, the promises. Sometimes God may speak to you in your dreams, in your quiet time with Him. What did He say to you that you forgot? I encourage you to remember and, trust God and His word, because He gonna come through every time. I would put on lipstick, but I don't know where it's at. Yeah, I don't know where my lip gloss is at, guys. I think I'm gonna try to find it. Alright, I'm back with my lip gloss. Little Fenty combo, and then I'm gonna end right here, my little vlog right here. Do a little Fenty Sweet Mouth lip gloss, and then a little clear gloss. I'm light skin, and I barely got lips, so for all the chocolate baddies that be doing the lip combos, even the light skin baddies that be doing that, I envy y'all, because I barely got lips. But this is the combo, and it's gonna work, and it's gonna hit every time. And this ain't the shirt I'm wearing, but for the sake of the video, we're gonna put on some perfume, since y'all see a little bit of my perfume in the back. This is YSL myself, one of my favorite perfumes, and we're gonna go.